Pretty often we hear stories about people who live everywhere in the world and they leave their country so they can live in the US. But in a very rare occasion you can hear a story of a Californian person leaving to live in Poland. Before we begin, I'm gonna give my two wild guesses about why he is leaving the US for Poland. First is the cost of living is gonna be cheaper, so his US money are gonna be worth much more. And second, the crime rate is much lower. And of course, third, the nature is awesome.
I get asked quite frequently is, why would you ever want to leave California for Poland? And it's an honest question. I don't blame people for asking. Why would anybody ever want to leave utopic California for, of all places, Poland? Why would I ever want to leave the warm, pristine beaches of the West Coast in exchange for Warsaw's many shades of gray?
From the few videos that I already saw about Poland, Warsaw is a great futuristic looking city, and he's probably not feeling much of a difference between California and Warsaw.
The first reason for my move is primarily motivated by economic reasons. For context, I'm the managing partner at a venture fund called Atmos Ventures, where we invest in early stage technology companies. Poland is sitting on a gold mine of tech talent. It ranks number 4 overall in terms of STEM graduates and first in terms of female STEM graduates in the European Union. It's this high concentration of tech talent that sets Poland up to be a real contender in the next 5 to 10 years in a world that's becoming more and more digital. Stereotypes about the tech industry tend to be that it's run by a bunch of geeky men. But walk into any Polish tech company and you'll find a near 50-50 split between male and female engineers. This contrasts greatly to where I come from. After spending many years in the San Francisco Bay Area and being surrounded by programmer culture, it's both shocking and refreshing to find myself in this new Polish reality.
Just as a note, it's not just in Poland, but here in Bulgaria as well. There are a lot of women in the tech industry.
But it's not just that step away from programmer culture that gets me really excited. What really gets me excited is the quality of the engineers here. Let me put it this way. Poland is one of the world leaders in terms of data science, machine learning, and quantum information theory. Polish engineers top the charts on Kaggle regularly, and companies like Box, Microsoft, Google, and NVIDIA are building multi-billion-dollar centers right here in Warsaw. Poland is a bit of a paradox when compared.
If you see this screen and you don't know it's Warsaw, most likely you're gonna think it's the US. And no wonder why US companies are building their offices in Warsaw. It's a beautiful country, it's a beautiful city, and as we already know, the IT specialists are on world quality level.
To Silicon Valley. In the Valley, we had a saying, too many CEOs and not enough engineers. But the opposite is actually true here in Poland. Given the fact that Poland just recently emerged from behind the Iron Curtain, the Polish entrepreneurial scene is still evolving. Most Polish tech startups that are founded and operated by former engineers also run their companies like engineers. So when you see how a product is packaged and sold, it's obvious that it was developed by an engineer. One of the drawbacks of being stuck behind the Iron Curtain for almost half a century is also the fact that the Polish economy just recently opened up to the greater global economy.
And that's even better, which means there is much higher place and bigger place for growth.
So entrepreneurs are still learning how to tap into those global markets and appeal to their customers. But where some Poles see this as an impediment, I see this as an opportunity.
For them it's not a big opportunity because a lot of the Poles are still being paid wow, and they deserve better.
Poland is a European growth champion. Its GDP has been growing at a rate of 4.5% per year since 1990, the highest out of any European country. And even with the economic downturn caused by COVID-19, Poland's economy shrank by a mere 3.5%. when compared to the OECD average, which shrank by 5.5%, or the UK, which shrank by as much as 10%.
And
With
Bulgaria
unemployment rates
12%.
soaring across Europe, Poland's have barely budged. Poland maintains the lowest unemployment rate in the entire European Union, according to the latest Eurostat figures.
I heard the joke about that the Polish police is beating the homeless people so they can go to work, but I know it's just a silly joke from the socialist mouth.
And according to the IMF, Poland's growth continues to accelerate into 2021 and beyond. Even if you're not Polish, you can still easily communicate with everyone here. Poles start learning English in primary school, so the majority of adult Poles speak decent English.
We start learning English in primary school as well, and there are even some kids that sign up for it at the age of 4 and 5 in kindergarten.
And even if you don't understand any Polish, you can still easily get by day to day. I've traveled the region, and without a doubt, out of all of the Eastern Bloc states, Poland feels the most Western. It's important to note, however, that Poland is not east of west, nor west of east, but Poland rather is the European heartland. And most importantly, whether you're raising your kids or you just want general peace of mind, Poland is one of the safest countries in the entire European Union.
Remember this, a lot of the US people are gonna move to live in Poland just simply because of this. Not only because of its economical growth, which is extremely wild, but it's safe and it's beautiful.
According to Eurostat, in 2019, Poland ranked 3rd in terms of safety for all of the EU. French and German citizens, on the other hand, reported 4 times more crime than their Polish counterparts. The food is absolutely incredible. The EU's food regulations are very strict, and that forces the industry to focus on quality over quantity, unlike in the US. I'll use bread as an example. The bread in the US is dreadful, has the texture of a yoga mat. We have that same kind of bread here in Europe, except we don't call it bread, we call it...
I wonder how the people on the back are feeling about this video. You can see that there is a woman with a mask on her face. Probably she's not feeling comfortable, but anyway, let's shoot it.
Toast. In San Francisco, there was an upmarket bakery called Tartines, which usually had a queue around the block. Here in Warsaw, we have the equivalent of about 40 Tartines. And if you're vegan like me, you most certainly won't go hungry. Warsaw was ranked the 6th most vegan-friendly city in the entire world, which is shocking considering its traditional meat and potatoes roots. But that doesn't mean that carnivores can enjoy themselves. Warsaw has some of the best restaurants in all of Europe, from steakhouses all the way to traditional
You can
Polish
eat
cuisine.
pierogi for life.
With over 1,000 years of history, Polish cultural roots run deep. From the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth to a non-existent Poland in the 18th century, Polish artists, musicians, scientists, and writers have contributed significantly to Western culture.
While he's talking all of these magnificent words about Poland, take a look at all of the epic, beautiful, and fresh backgrounds that he's walking by.
On a warm summer Sunday afternoon, head to the Royal Baths Park for a Chopin concert. Or you can head to one of the many museums dealing with World War II history.
This is simply in one
which
town.
affected Poland much more than the rest of Europe. You can also take a stroll through the incredible Warsaw Old Town, which is in fact the newest old town in the entire world, as it was painstakingly rebuilt brick by brick after the war. And even with steady GDP per capita growth over the years, Poland still remains a very inexpensive place to live. Warsaw is the most expensive city, but pales in comparison to other US and Western European cities. A one-bedroom flat will run you about $600 US, and an Uber ride across town will run you about $3. That same Uber ride will run you about $8 from the city center to the airport, and $15 on Uber Eats will buy you so much food that you'll have plenty left over on the following day.
Every Slavic country, $15, you can eat whatever you want.
And unlike some European countries in the South and in the West, Poland maintains a very healthy balance between hard work and leisure time. Poles work hard, but not for the sake of working hard. In the US, there's a culture of workaholism and not much of a delineation between work and life. In the US, work is life, and it's made apparent by interactions you have with Americans at social events. A typical question an American may ask you upon meeting them is, "So what do you do for a living?" Whereas the same question won't be posed by a Pole until you really get to know them. But don't think that Poles are slacking either. Poland is one of the hardest working countries in the entire world, while at the same time maintaining healthy work-life balance with 26 days of paid leave and up to 52 weeks of paid maternity leave.
That is awesome. Here in Bulgaria, the paid to leave days are 20, the basic ones, and the maternity leave is 48 months. Yes, so 48 months. 24 months, excuse me.
Leave.
But the second year pays lower.
The beauty of being based in Central Europe is that you're just a short flight away from something spectacular. After a long week, hop on a flight Friday evening and be in Rome before 9 p.m. London, Paris, Rome, and Istanbul are just a few examples of the places you can visit that are within 2.5 hours of Warsaw Chopin Airport. And if you're like me,
and
someone who is spoiled by the mild winters in the
time.
San Francisco Bay Area, you can snowbird at Tel Aviv or Cyprus, both 3.5 hours away, or the Canary Islands, a mere 5-hour flight.
He makes it sound so simple. Just take the airplane and go somewhere. It's like I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm just gonna take the train and I can travel to the other part of Bulgaria for 5, 6, 8, 10 hours. No problem. It's the same as taking the airplane, which will cost me 1,000 times more, and visit the other side of the earth, maybe.
San Francisco Bay Area for Poland was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Poland is at a really unique place in its history where you have all of this economic growth being catalyzed by a highly skilled workforce and investments from abroad. Even our neighbors in Italy, Spain, and Portugal are moving here to Poland to take advantage of the low unemployment rates, the low crime rates, and the growing GDP per capita. As Poles, we tend to feed our inferiority complexes by thinking of our country as nothing more than an exporter of car parts, furniture, plumbers, and nurses, when in fact, this country of emigrants has turned into a country of immigrants. Our IT sector alone employs 500,000 people.
I like how he says, us, we Polish people, our IT sector. He is feeling Polish, or at least he pretends to feel, which is good.
I'm very excited where Poland is going to be in the next 10 years, and I'm proud and privileged to be even a tiny part of what will be a very big story.
Poland is becoming a superpower, no doubt about that, and I'll be following it closely. Do not forget to subscribe, and for the super crazy people, you can click the join button here to support me do what I love for a living.